All right, so I'm 25 years old and I'm finally coming to terms with something that I've kind of ignored for the past few years, which is that I'm terrified of approaching women in public. Like, even eye contact with a cute girl and my body goes into like fight or flight. What's good with that? Like, it's time to make a change, man. I think I've just been using these dating apps for too long where even when they work, they don't actually work. And I'm just sick of being jester, chud, number 1000 pick me, pick me, pick me on her hinge when that same girl that probably wouldn't pick me on the app would give me a real chance if I could just man up and approach her in real life. Think about it. Online, it's you versus 1,000 other chuds, where in real life, it's you versus maybe five other dudes who had the confidence to approach her that week, two of which were probably homeless. So, what's the better odds? So I finally decided to fix this bullshit because I'm over it. So last week I'm in this coffee shop. There's nobody else in there. I found the one coffee shop in the entire city that didn't have any MacBook tweakers in it. So it's just me sitting there tweaking on my MacBook, editing and posting my last video, which was basically about how dating apps are killing dating and the importance of real life interactions. So as I'm getting this video out, an absolute baddie walks in. Sorry, I gotta purge baddie from my vocabulary. A pretty girl walks in, sits down, starts working. Instantly, my ass goes into fight or flight. Instead of just saying something to her, I did what I do best and I just thought my way out of it. I start thinking, bro. Thinking is great. Like, I'm glad I can think. I mean, this channel is a product of me thinking out loud. But in situations like these, man, thinking is the devil because you can think your way out of anything, come up with a million logical reasons not to do something. So, I'm like, oh, she's working, I'm working. I'm just a stupid chud. She doesn't want me anyway. So that's exactly what happened. So I posted my video and I walked out of there like a stupid chud. Worst part was, as I'm walking away, I take a look to my right. I look through the glass and she's looking at me. So at this point, I'm like, yo, something's got to change. I just posted a video about how I want to meet someone in real life and then I get a chance and I fucking botch it. So I thought to myself, I was like, next situation that God lines up for me, I'm taking that shit. And I don't know if you guys believe in God, but me and God have been super tapped in recently. So I told bro, I was like, give me one chance right now and I'll take it. So you can say what you want about New York. It smells like shit. It's dirty. There's rats everywhere. I mean, we're at the point now with the rats where when one pops up, like people don't even flinch anymore. You just keep walking. I could go on and on. It's dangerous. It's crowded. But one indisputable fact is that there is no shortage of beautiful women walking around. The BPC is just ridiculous. Like, I've done some traveling and I've yet to find a match for New York. So I'm walking through this park that's near me and boom, here we go. Another chance. For you guys not on the East Coast, it has been snowing crazy. Like the most snow I've ever seen in my life type shit. So I look to my right and there's this girl building like this detailed little snowman by herself. And in my head, I'm like, nah, like this is the cutest shit I've ever seen. She looked around my age too, and I was like, yo, it's time to go, time to lock in. So what do? I walk right past her, bro. And like at this point, I'm ready to jump into the river. I had started thinking again. I was like, nah, like I don't want to bother her. Like she's too cute. Like she's busy with her snowman. Like just anything but going up and talking to her. And I was like, nah, like now God's involved. I got to spin the block. And I went back, just went up to her, no thinking about what I was going to say. And I said some stupid shit too. I was just like, oh, did you just make that? There's no way you just made that. And, we start talking. She's actually mad cool. She ends up asking me for my number. So now I'm walking with this girl's number. I'm going on a date with her this week. And I'm like, holy shit, like that girl probably would have dubbed my ass on Hinge. But here's the thing, and I'm going to expand on this in a little bit. Even if I didn't get her number, I still won just because I sacked up and did what I wanted to do and I talked to her, regardless of the outcome. It's kind of weird if you think about it to go into any interaction just so focused on getting something out of it, right? And I think this is part of the problem, just how outcome focused that we all are right now. But I swear, this interaction like woke something up inside of me. This past week, I just been moving different. I'm just saying shit, bro, not even giving myself a chance to think about it. This girl at the gym the other day was doing some weird exercise, and I went up to her when she was done. I was like, what are you doing? I've been working out for 6+ years at this point. I don't think I've ever gone up to a girl at the gym once, except for the occasional like, oh, are you still using this machine? And this girl was pretty cute, but I wasn't going in with like any type of objective. Like, oh, I'm trying to rizz her up. Like I was just curious, and instead of thinking for reasons not to say something to this girl, I just said some shit, and then we had a nice little conversation. We all move around now like we're too cool for curiosity. Like we have all the answers just because we have the internet, just because we have fucking Grok and ChatGPT. And I think that that's the wrong direction for us. I feel like I don't know, I've always been socially aware, but it's gotten to this point where I'm too socially aware. Like I need to be less, I don't know, just less aware of like what I'm doing. Not give myself time to think my way out of shit. If you're like me, then talking isn't the problem. I mean, look at this YouTube channel. I can talk. It's really just more getting over that first mental block. Like yesterday, again, I'm telling you, I'm moving different. I'm walking on the street. This girl had this crazy hat on, like one of those fur. She basically had like a squirrel on her head. And I was like, oh, that's a cool hat. And the shit was ridiculous. Like it was not a cool hat. But I just thought about saying something to her. And instead of thinking more, I just said it. You know, nothing came from it. She just smiled, and then that was it. And it felt good. And I'm just like so sick of this mental block that's been preventing me from doing this shit for years. Like maybe when they drop this Neuralink shit, you won't have to go through this pain. You know, you'll just be able to download the Rizzler subscription. But for now, it's like I just need to train my brain, reverse this weird thing that's developed over the past couple of years. You know, in high school and college, like there's systems in place, but when that shit is gone and you're an adult and it's like, okay, are my only options dating apps now, or am I gonna lock in? And if you're detached from the outcome, you can't lose doing this. Like there's no situation where you lose. Like even when it doesn't hit, because it's not always gonna hit, right? Like I was at the bar with my friend on Saturday and I saw this girl with one of those full mink coats. And I was like, fuck it. I didn't even give myself time to think. I was just like, oh, what animal is that jacket? And she turns around and looks at me with disgust. She's like, what are you talking about? And I just laughed and walked away. And that was that. Like, that's the crazy thing about this realization I'm coming to. It's like, even when I gesture max and just get totally rejected, that still feels better than thinking about doing something and not doing it. This is where rejection comes into play. Because if I'm going to be honest about this, a lot of the mental gymnastics that I do, the reasons I come up with not to approach a girl, stem from just like a fear of rejection. This is the devil, this fear of rejection. I've spent so many years terrified of in-person rejection, but yet like I'm totally cool with getting rejected 1,000 times on the internet. That shit makes no sense. Those in-person rejections you learn from, you put yourself in an uncertain situation and you tried. You took a risk. The online rejections, that's just empty. As a generation that grew up alongside all this technology coming out, we were like the guinea pigs. You match on a dating app or send like an Instagram DM or a real throwback. Back in the day, you just put up a like for a TBH post and that was it. That was all you had to do to start talking to a girl. But, you know, on apps, you don't proceed unless you have the green light. It's not even possible. You match first. But that's not how real life works. So what gets lost in the process of all this internet cheese is like social cues, mutual eye contact, taking risks. When you approach a girl in real life, you don't really know shit about her or if she's interested in you at all. You put yourself out there and you find out. Where it's like, what are you putting yourself out there digitally and just getting rejected, blah, 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 blah. What does that do for you as a person? Nothing. Because there's no risk there. There's no dealing with uncertainty. You take that shot in real life, you walk away feeling good because at least you took the open shot. You didn't pass the ball away like you always do. You took the three. It doesn't even actually matter if you airballed that shit. No risk, no reward. And again, the same girl that will not talk to you on a dating app will give you a chance in real life. Like you're starting at such higher odds. It's not even funny. So it's like you missed, who cares? Just keep it pushing, bro. So as you guys can probably tell from this video, I'm not like the Rizzler, but I am hyper observant. I have picked up on some shit. Like what makes this harder, what makes this easier. But I think at the end of the day, if you're going to approach, you got to just do it. It's like skydiving. It's like you're going to jump out of the plane or you're going to not jump out of the plane. But there are variables that you can control, like the altitude of the plane. You know what I mean? So mistake number one is relying or leaning on drinking and booze. Like going out and getting plastered with the objective of talking to girls is a mistake that I've made so many times. Like thinking that if I just keep drinking, eventually I'll morph into like DiCaprio. And then you end up just morphing into a drunk slob. It just makes everything worse, especially in this society where the two are almost like intertwined. It's like going out and talking to girls at bars or, at the club, God forbid. But let's be honest with ourselves. There is a reason that there's a connection there because there are times where there's a certain, I don't want to say flow state, but there's like a perfect amount where alcohol for like a second, you just end up completely out of your head. You're like flowing, your inhibition is lower. And this is why alcoholism exists, but this isn't sustainable. Like it's a very short window that when it comes, which it rarely does, always comes at a price in my experience. Like, you guys remember in Zombies where you had to buy Juggernaut, and once you drank it, you could take extra hits now. So it's like all of a sudden you're moving around the map with more confidence. That's kind of the perfect analogy of having a drink to approach a girl. Because, bro, the jug machine is not always going to be there. You know what I mean? You got to be able to go the distance without jug. So, like, if you get drunk and talk to a girl, in the moment, it usually feels good. You're like, wow, who am I right now? And then the next day you wake up, you don't remember what you were even talking about, and you feel like death. So it's just not optimal for you, me, the soul. You got to be able to do this shit without jug. So now I want to talk about what I call the I'm a stupid chud mindset. And there's two parts to this. And the first is like, I don't want to be creepy, right? This is something that's haunted me since I can remember. I don't want to approach her because I don't want to creep her out. I don't want to I don't want to compliment that because it'll be creepy. It's like, you aren't creepy, bro. The real creeps are not asking themselves, am I being creepy right now? It's not creepy to say hi to somebody. It's creepy to stick around. Yeah, if they're clearly not interested, then you're being creepy, you're being weird. But I would never do that. So it's like, why am I walking around feeling like Harvey Weinstein? Like, I'm a 25-year-old dude. I'll never be this young again. Maybe when I'm 50, okay, I'll be creepy. Then it'll be creepy. I have this theory because when I was growing up, it was as all this Me Too shit was happening, where a bunch of perverts were getting outed, as they should have. But my theory is that like this whole movement kind of created this subconscious like all men are creepy vibe in the brains of my generation, in men and women. I've had this fear built into my brain from a young age, like this fear of making any girl uncomfortable, which on its own like is not a bad thing. Like, I also grew up with two older sisters, so I've always been very aware of the shit that women do have to deal with when it comes to creepy dudes. But I think it played this part of like me not approaching, not putting myself out there is almost like encouraged. I think this is gonna start to kind of fade away because you see girls like begging to be approached now because the majority of guys don't want to approach because they're scared to make a girl uncomfortable. And whole time she wants to be approached, and she's not gonna approach. Like, very, very rarely will a girl approach a guy. So you think about this, and it's like, what did this Me Too shit have to do with me, bro? Like, I don't have any creepy intentions. I'm just trying to say hi to this cute girl that's looking at me. It's like, why am I in fight or flight mode just making eye contact? This all gets worse when you realize that the actual creeps do not care about making her uncomfortable. So they end up being the only ones that are approaching, and it becomes like this cycle, right? That's part one of the I'm a stupid chud mindset. Part two, it's like, I'm not really positive where exactly the self-doubt comes from. Probably some childhood trauma, but for whatever reason, I autopilot to moving around, telling myself I'm a stupid chud. Again, the devil, because with this attitude, even if a girl is looking at me, I will convince myself, like, nah, there's no way. She wouldn't want me because I'm a big fucking chungus. I don't even know what that means, but it somehow is applicable. There's like this self-doubt thing where, I did used to kind of be a chud, like a lazy fat loser with nothing going on. But I've come a long way since that, man, like objectively, physically, mentally, like spiritually. I spent years and years of my life dedicated to becoming better, but it's like for some reason I can't see the progress that I've made in my head. Like, basically I shed my chud shell, but mentally I'm still chud maxing. And that's an awful sentence, probably the worst one I've ever said. I apologize, but I know I'm not the only one who feels this way. And it's like, at what point do you say enough is enough? Enough of none of these girls would want me, and switching to every single girl I see would be blessed to have me, bro. Blessed. You know, that beautiful girl over there, at one point, she's talked to someone who was a bigger chud than me. She loved a fat, ugly loser chud. And this is the piece that I've been missing for years. It's the delusion, bro. Like, none of this even has to be true. But if I believe it's true, if I tell it to myself, everything around me starts changing. Because it's like I'm already lying to myself. Why not change the lie? If you walk around telling yourself that you're a stupid chud, that's how the world's gonna receive you. And I'm just over that, man. Like, I've come too far. I've been through too much crazy shit to keep telling myself that. Science says self compassion is one of the best medicines for the brain for trauma and mental health issues. I never understood that, and I get it now. And another thing that's made this easier, I've noticed, kind of going back to what I said at the beginning, it's like you need to be completely detached from any type of outcome. You know, it's like if you're going in like, oh, I need to get her number, like she's so hot, oh my God, I just need to ask her out. You're just gonna be thinking too much. Like everything else in life, you know, I'm always talking about the importance of being in the present and the present moment. Once you start thinking about outcomes and oh, this and that, you obsess over shit, like that's when you're no longer in the present. That's when you start thinking, and that's when it's clipped for you, bro. The whole porn thing too. I mean, I made a whole video about it, so I won't go too much into detail here. But cut that shit out, bro, because it's hijacking the brain to do a couple things, right? First, obsess over the physical, obsess over the outcomes, like moving around like a maniac, like a squirrel looking for a nut, right? That's the first bad part. The second is that, you know, for me at least, I felt so much shame from doing it consciously and subconsciously. It's like it feeds the voice in your head that tells you not to do what you want to do. It's like, yo, don't approach, bro. Like, you don't even need to. Like, what are you doing? Just rip a goon instead. The self doubt, it just gets louder. So I'm not articulating it properly, but I seriously think like stopping your porn addiction plays a huge part because for some reason, girls can pick up on this shit. Like, I'm not gonna pretend like I know how it works, but a girl can smell a gooner from a mile away. It's actually nuts. I've seen it time and time again. You need to cut out that safety net. It's like, oh, I don't need to approach these girls. I can just goon. Or, you know, it's kind of the same with dating apps. It's like, I don't need to approach her because I can just use dating apps. You have a cop out. In reality, it's like, dude, you should be approaching. It's like, you're never going to be this young. You're alone. Like, this is like literally how I feel. It's like, I should be approaching. I should be putting myself out there. And like this technology is telling me I shouldn't. I'm not going to say that dating apps are as bad as corn, but they're both cop-outs. One of the most interesting parts of this whole looksmaxing explosion that we're seeing on the internet recently, to me, is that there is truth to it. Saying that looks don't matter, you know, it's just what's on the inside, bro. That's all that matters. Like, that's cute, but if we're being real, especially in today's world, you should be in the best shape that you can be. You should have good hygiene, good clothes, you know, use products that help you because these things increase your confidence, right? And like I'm talking like the basic shit. I don't even know if this counts as looks maxing, but it's like, bro, it's 2026 and you still aren't flossing? Like lock in. So yeah, like ignoring the physical aspect of this is cope. Like if you are the most attractive version of yourself, it's going to be easier to do anything that requires confidence. But what's also cope to me, it's like thinking this is just the one and only piece of the puzzle. Once you get to this point where you're bone smashing and you're taking several supplements every single morning, it's like, all right, dude, maybe it's time to look inward and try something mental. Like for me, I've been working out for 6 years. Maybe I could be a little leaner, get a little more muscle mass, but I'm not going to ascend physically much further than from where I'm at, which is why it's okay. I need to start looking inward. That's why I need to start looking at this self-doubt, like this rejection, this mindset shit that's been cooking me for years. I'm bullish on real-world interactions. I don't think that this internet isolation shit can hold out much longer. It's just too bad for the soul. You know, maybe it'll be like Dune where we just get rid of all the computers, but then again, I would lose my channel, so I don't know if I'm really with that. But yeah, like I just think this is an important thing to talk about. It's one of these things that I was embarrassed to talk about. You know, my friends are embarrassed to talk about, but it's like we kind of all deal with this shit. We kind of all grew up at this time where we were guinea pigs. You know, in school, in high school, in college, and then sometimes even at the workplace, like there's systems set up to where you meet people. But in today's world, it's like if you make it past those and you haven't met someone, and then it's like, what are you supposed to do if you don't want to use dating apps? It's like, you need to fix this mindset shit. So that's really what I've been focusing on. I also got to say, I really appreciate you guys listening to my bullshit. I wake up every single day just shocked at this position that you guys have put me in, because I've said from the very start, this channel is like therapy for me. Like, talking through shit like this is literally helping me grow as a dude. I gotta be the only person in the entire world who gets paid for his therapy. So I just want to say thank you. I really can't express my gratitude enough. Let me know what you guys think. I know that this is something that a lot of dudes deal with and not a lot talk about, that's not in like a cringe red pill way or blue pill way. I don't know, whatever the pills are, I gotta lock in. One is black pill, but put the pills aside. I think it's an important thing to talk about. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.